The public has been asking about the upcoming NAR changes. The U.S. Department of Justice was concerned that real estate agents were making consumers feel like they couldn't negotiate commissions, especially on the buyer side. This stems from the average 3% commission that has long been offered out to buyer's agents via the multiple list service. Prior to the change, when a seller would hire a listing agent, a commission would be negotiated, and an agent would then typically split the amount with the agent that brings the buyer and would then communicate that via the multiple list service. Because it has been promoted via the multiple list service all these years, the Department of Justice has stepped in and said that it's not fair to buyers because some of that money could have gone to the buyer or back to the seller, but there's no way for that to happen because the agents receive what's offered, regardless of what the home sells for, which according to the Department of Justice was against the spirit of negotiations. This was always negotiable, but not in their best interest to be the only listing offering less. Now, to prevent price fixing, and to encourage negotiations between all parties, a set commission amount may not be offered in the MLS. However, it may be offered via the MLS in the form of seller concessions. Concessions can be used toward buyer agent commissions, which we expect will happen. We anticipate that sellers will want to offer concessions to the buyers to give their agents incentive to show the home versus the competition. And since buyers are not used to paying commissions, this may be a wise move for a seller. Finally, to further encourage transparency of fees, the Department of Justice is requiring real estate agents to have a signed buyer agency agreement with a buyer so the buyer is fully aware of the commission that their agent's being paid. This same document will explain to the buyer that if the seller's not willing to cover the cost to the buyer's agent, the buyer is responsible for any difference between what's negotiated from the seller and what's expected per the buyer agreement.